Let's be honest, we've all been there, right? Stuck solving the exact same problem over and over and over again. But what if I told you there's a way to break that cycle for good? Well, in this explainer, we are going to dive into something called root cause analysis to do exactly that.
Oh, you know the feeling. You spend your entire morning fixing some bug or dealing with a customer complaint, and then boom, the exact same issue pops right back up again next week. It really feels like you're stuck on a hamster wheel of problems and you just can't get off.
And here's the real reason why that happens. Most of the time, we're so busy just putting out fires that we only treat the most obvious, surface-level signs of a problem. It's like we're slapping a tiny bandage on a deep wound instead of figuring out what caused the injury in the first place.
But there is a way to break this frustrating cycle. It's called root cause analysis, or RCA for short, and you should think of yourself as a detective for your problems. It's a systematic way to look past all those obvious symptoms and uncover the one fundamental issue that's causing all the trouble.
So, how do we start our detective work? Well, our very first tool is beautifully simple, but trust me, it's incredibly powerful. It's called the 5 Whys, and it's all about asking one simple little question.
The core idea here is just so simple. By repeatedly asking why, you can literally peel back the layers of any issue, moving from the obvious symptom all the way down to the hidden cause. You're not looking for complicated answers, just the immediate cause and effect link at each step.
All right, let's see this thing in action with a classic example. Imagine your team is in hot water because a really critical shipment missed its deadline. The symptom is obvious, right? The package is late. But why? Okay, let's start digging. First question, why did the shipment arrive late? Well, simple enough. The truck left the warehouse behind schedule. That's our first why. Okay, now, why did that happen? Because the truck wasn't loaded on time. Okay, that gets us a little deeper. So, why wasn't it loaded on time? Because the products themselves weren't even packaged and ready to go. You see how we're already moving away from the shipping dock and onto the factory floor?
Let's keep going. Why weren't the products packaged? Turns out a critical machine on the production line broke down. Now we're getting somewhere. This feels like a real cause, but we have to go one step further. Why did the machine break down? And here it is, the clincher. It missed its scheduled preventative maintenance.
And boom, this just brilliantly illustrates the power of the 5 Whys. We started with what looked like a shipping problem, and we ended up uncovering a maintenance process failure. Think about it. If you had just yelled at the truck driver, you'd be dealing with another late shipment next month, for sure. But by fixing the maintenance schedule, you solved the problem for good.
Okay, so the 5 Whys is like a scalpel. It's perfect for these precise, linear problems. But what about for those messy, complex issues that have multiple potential causes? For that, we need a different kind of tool. So let's talk about the fishbone diagram. The fishbone diagram, you might also hear it called an Ishikawa diagram, is basically a way to visually map out every single potential cause you and your team can think of. It helps you brainstorm in a really structured way so you don't miss anything.
It all starts with what we call the head of the fish. This is where you write down your clear, specific problem statement. So for example, let's say your problem is a sudden spike in customer support tickets. That statement goes right there at the head.
Now, the real power of this method is in its structure. The main bones coming off the spine of the fish represent common categories of causes. A really popular framework for this is the 6 M's: manpower, which is your people; method, the process; machine, which is technology, and so on. These act as awesome prompts to make sure you're looking at the problem from all angles.
So from there, your team just starts brainstorming all the possible causes that fall into each of those categories. Under manpower, you might list inadequate training. Under machine, maybe you'd put slow website servers. You add these as smaller bones, and pretty soon you've built out a full skeleton that gives you a complete picture of everything that could possibly be contributing to your problem.
So now you have 2 really powerful tools in your toolkit, the 5 Whys and the fishbone diagram. But which one should you use and when? Well, the answer really depends entirely on the nature of your problem.
This table here breaks it down perfectly. Just look at the best 4 row. The 5 Whys is your go-to for simple, straightforward problems, where one thing leads to another. The fishbone diagram, on the other hand, is designed for that messy complexity. And then check out the outcome at the bottom. The 5 Whys will usually lead you to a single root cause, whereas the fishbone gives you this comprehensive map of all the possible causes. So the takeaway is simple. Pick the tool that matches the complexity of your problem.
You know, mastering these tools does so much more than just make you a better problem solver. It fundamentally changes how you approach your work. You stop just reacting to things all the time, and you start anticipating them. It's a total game changer.
And that right there is really the heart of it all. This isn't about being faster at fixing things. It's about building systems and processes that are so robust that the problems don't even happen in the first place.
Ultimately, root cause analysis gives you this massive advantage. You get to move from being a reactive firefighter, constantly rushing from one emergency to the next, to being a proactive architect, designing systems that are resilient, efficient, and, well, fireproof.
So I guess my question for you is this. What's that one recurring problem, that one thing on your hamster wheel that you're going to solve for good? You have the tools now. Go use them.